If there's one game that never gets old to me, it's Luigi's Mansion. It's a perfect game for spooky season, as it captures the atmosphere of Halloween as a kid perfectly. So much so, I kid you not, I played through this game probably 15 or 16 times now. That's substantial for a filthy casual. There's something about Luigi's Mansion that Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon and Luigi's Mansion 3 just, I don't know, didn't get right? Or maybe they got it right, but it wasn't what ticked all the boxes for me in the original. But here we are, 23 years later, since the game released, and I've climbed out my YouTube grave for something special. A fan creation that breathes life back into a world that I love, and fills it to the brim with spooky energy. This is the story of Luigi's Mansion Halloween Haunt, and it's definitely something you should play. Also, we're gonna break it later on to see how it's put together, so that's fun. It's All Hallows Eve, and Toad and Luigi have made their way into a mysterious manor in search of some candy. So that's already a red flag. Word of advice, kids, don't enter random houses in exchange for candy. Anyways, Toad really wants to go searching through this place for some sweet goodness, while Luigi is being a scaredy cat. A reasonable scaredy cat, that is. Soon after Toad's rambling, all the lights click off, and the spirits of the manor make their presence known, insisting the two guests make themselves comfy for the night. The doors lock, and Toad starts whining like a baby as the ghosts roll a nat 20 and kill him on the spot with lightning. Ah, much better. Luigi's obviously terrified given Toad just died, but the ghosts aren't finished just yet. They claim this estate is home to hundreds of horrible haunts, but there's certainly room for one more. An icy chill fills the room as the clock on the wall chimes. Once the clock strikes midnight, Luigi is told he will leave the land of the living and join the spirits of the mansion forever. So basically, a pretty average Halloween, and thus Luigi's quest begins. Now this mansion is much smaller than the original mansion, however, it nails the charm of the first game very closely. It even goes a tab beyond that by mixing in skulls, pumpkins, and other spooky props to really dial in on the All Hallows Eve aesthetic. Small environments and a small world scope keep horror more mysterious and interesting. When confining a horror game to a single house, you care about the setting a lot more, and you even grow an attachment to it. That's always where Luigi's Mansion excelled. The second the world gets bigger beyond that point, you take a hit with how attached people are to it. You can see this happen in all kinds of horror media. I digress though. Once we clear out this room, the lights pop on and some doors around us unlock. The one to our right takes us outside and into a closed-off lawn, similar to the backyard and graveyard from the original game. There's a haunting yet welcoming pumpkin-headed scarecrow out here, so you know that earns some major brownie points with me. There's a big gap in the yard though that we can't cross, so we'll have to come back here later. Moving back into the starting room and out the double doors, we'll find a very tall living area with a landing up above. There are several levels to this room. A book on the bookshelf alerts us that some secrets are hidden out of sight, so this tips us off that we need to be watchful in this area. Upon messing with a suit of armor, we get ambushed by some punks. After vacuuming them up, we'll be rewarded with a key that we can use to unlock the door to our left. We enter a rather cozy den with a fire roaring, a headless horseman picture framed in the center, and a spread of pumpkins that is looking like it's one shy. I already love this. If we examine the chair, we learn we can potentially place a jack-o'-lantern here. My mind immediately races to wondering if lighting up the pumpkins with the fire element is going to be a thing too. If we examine the fire bookshelf, we'll find out it's a prop, and just a few feet away, we'll find that fire medallion I was itching for. If a haunted mansion is taunting you, why not just burn it all down? So it turns out this fake bookshelf is fireproof, but not this door in the previous room. Instead, we give this button behind the false door a press, and the fake bookshelf ends up revealing a hidden door behind it. A moment later, we encounter a familiar face. It's Madame Clairvoyant, who senses Luigi's wavering resolve. She shares a vision with us, as she usually does, and it's essentially a second slap in the face, as she tells us we're basically gonna die and be stuck in the mansion forever come midnight. Glorious! The spell of ages has been cast upon this green boy, and the only way to remove it is to obtain the Forbidden Grimoire. If we can retrieve this item, she'll lift our curse. But this is where things also get interesting in this fan work. Now, I'm not going to summarize the whole gameplay from start to finish, but the game does keep track of whether you actually go out of your way to save Toad or not. Yes, surprisingly, that mushroom isn't dead forever. Similar to locating Mario's items in the original game, as you progress through the various rooms of this mansion, you'll have the opportunity to solve an optional puzzle which involves collecting this thing. A Toad voodoo doll, which looks absolutely terrifying. You can continue the game without doing this, but by collecting it, you can get the true intended ending as Toad is brought back to life. On your quest, you'll explore several rooms that each have their own gimmick or puzzle to solve, whether it be a jump scare through a fake mirror or having to go topside in a water-filled basement. I really love the attention to detail in the rooms, as each of them felt unique. A few rooms have multiple levels to them as well, which utilizes wide open vertical space in a way that Luigi's Mansion didn't really do. It adds to the atmosphere quite a lot, as areas that once utilized vertical space in the original game, like Egad's lab with its ladder, were eventually revised, so the player didn't actually explore them. Eventually, this whole mansion quest does culminate in a boss battle that is surprisingly more difficult than I thought it'd be. Luigi will eventually be warped to an otherworldly arena to face off against several ghosts in a timed match. There's 2 minutes on the clock, and if you run out of time, well, the impact is a lot worse than you think. It's permadeath, which is quite brutal. I think the reason this was done was because this was originally made for a modding competition, and one of the stipulations was to have no saves within your submission. But it does make the final fight a bit cutthroat. The bigger issue being if ghosts just decide to hide from you and run the clock down like a bunch of 10,000 IQ bullies. Encountering some new ghosts here was certainly a nice surprise though, but we're gonna switch gears now. Let's say Luigi did die. Unfortunately, there isn't going to be a funeral, and now he's stuck here as a ghost. I love breaking games and looking out of bounds, so why don't we use this as an opportunity to take a closer look at things? So, as a ghost, we can fly around and walk through walls, and Luigi's Mansion is laid out on a grid as each room unloads and loads in the one next to it. So moving around the map as a ghost can be pretty fun, as we're able to see what rooms may be next to each other. If there isn't another room, we'll be pressed up against the edge of the map. Areas that have windows have skyboxes, so we can see what the outer parts of the rooms look like. Going to the backyard, there's a ravine between the front of the backyard and the area with the scarecrow. You normally cannot cross this, but as a ghost we can. There isn't anything notable back here, but the ground collider is intact, so we're able to walk on it. Also, nothing happens if we fall down the ravine. We have to be careful though, because if we try exiting through the back of the yard, we'll be tossed into a black abyss. When this happens, we can hear the murmur of ghosts, but we can't see anything else. I think perhaps it's leftover room data from the base game or an earlier version of the mod, but nothing is here. Heading back to one of the main rooms, we can walk on the peak of the house. Eventually, we can clip into one of the final rooms too. But just beyond the back wall of the mansion, we'll find the boss room. Entering it like this makes it so that the boss fight does not activate. While floating around, I did take a closer look at things. The wallpaper is pretty rad, not gonna lie. It does kind of just get ripped off near the front of the room though. The clock floating up front is pretty ominous too. As we can see, it's only a few minutes until midnight. All the areas in this mod are really nice, and it was fun to break things a bit just to see how it was all assembled. And of course, to appreciate the finer details that you may not normally see up close. The side yard area is probably my favorite location, just because exterior areas always felt so rare within Luigi's Mansion. All in all, I was really happy playing this mod. It's been a long time since the game first came out, but seeing what the Luigi's Mansion modding community has been cooking up recently is amazing. Colby, who also goes by Slug Motif on YouTube, created what you just saw over the span of 3 months, and I highly recommend giving it a play if you have the time. Luigi's Mansion will probably remain my most clear game ever, as it will continue to be a tradition, regardless of my age, to play through it again during Halloween. But with that, I hope you enjoyed this look at Luigi's Mansion Halloween Haunt, as it truly does a great job of adding to its legacy. And hey, before I go, yes, I know, I've been gone for a long time. Sorry about that. I jumped into being a full-time game developer, and will be releasing the first part of my horror game, Zardy's Cave, really soon. Given I was working on a spooky game, I naturally started uploading more on my other channel, Horoscoped. But I still have plans for this channel, so stay tuned for some other Nintendo stuff coming your way soon. And as always, thanks for watching, and until my next video, cheers!